Alright, Demon Souls, the first entry in the Soul Saga, but one that is quite often overlooked for challenge running. Which is somewhat understandable since the mechanics and available approaches were much more limited back then. For example, there's only a single damage-inflicting miracle in the entire game. And not exactly a lot of variety in movesets or special attacks. Not merely in reference to the player, as the majority of the boss encounters tend to revolve around a certain gimmick. There's definitely no comparison here to the extensive movesets and relentless combos that we encounter in the later entries like Elden Ring. So that made me wonder, how difficult can you force this game to be? Could you construct a truly grueling, determination-breaking challenge run in Demon Souls? That was my goal when coming up with this rather specific playthrough. And wow, did I completely overshoot my target. Because nothing could have prepared me for the absolute misery that I was about to unleash upon myself. And remember that I'm making that statement after going through Dark Souls 3 without using any stamina, including the DLCs. So feast your eyes upon these 4 specific spells, that we'll simply refer to as area of effect spells. The first one being the aforementioned single damage inflicting miracle, which has a very appropriate name since it can bring devastating divine destruction down upon the demons. So other than it being awkward to use due to the slow casting animation, even using this attack exclusively would not be that much of a challenge. Especially not if you would also have enough magic slots for the fiery fury of Firestorm. And the cloud spells allow you to cheese multiple bosses without even engaging them at all. However, what if we combine these attacks with another restriction? Staying at soul level 1. And given that these spells are from late game, starting the run on New Game Plus. Well, in that case, God's Wrath turns into a divine disappointed sigh.
A refreshing blast right out of your ass.
And it already requires 1 ring slot to use it, 1 remaining ring slot to boost it, and even requires you to wear the silver coronet and hold the silver chalice in addition to your talisman, none of which are upgradable by the way, in order to have the amount of MP necessary for a single cast. And Firestorm is completely unusable since it requires 3 magic slots. Poison and Death Cloud only inflict 5 or 6 damage per second, and you cannot have both equipped at the same time at level 1, and therefore you cannot stack them. Moreover, let's add another rule. I mean, those cheeky poison cheese tactics are tedious and boring, so let's say they're off the table as well. I mean, making clever use of the environment is fine, of course, but these specific strategies we're not going to use. So, what would it be like to go through New Game Plus at soul level 1 using only area of effect spells? Well, short answer, the main area that was affected was my fragile psyche, causing my own personal character tendency to be as dark and soulless as it could possibly be. And for the longer answer, well, better sit down for this one. Because even though we're coming for these demons upon the clouds of heaven, I can assure you that the colorless fog shrouding the lands of Boletaria will turn into a dark cloud without a silver lining.
Soul of the lost withdrawn from its vessel. Let strength be granted so the world might be mended. Soul of the lost withdrawn from its vessel. Let strength be granted so the world might be mended. So the world might be mended. This is the Nexus. It holds together the northern land of Boletaria. Thou canst not quit the Nexus, but the 5 Archstones will guide thee to the outer lands.
Alright then, so we start off in New Game Plus. All worlds are at neutral tendency, and my character tendency is at pure white, which will become highly relevant later on. I have Death Cloud and God's Wrath equipped, meaning that I'm tied to a specific ring setup, since removing them before defeating the Phalanx would literally softlock me, given that the relevant NPCs aren't available yet to re-equip my spells. Now having said that, the Cling Ring, or even being in human form, isn't going to be that helpful anyway. In fact, I'm only going to be in human form in the first stage, because even on New Game Plus, at full health you can still survive at least some attacks from weak enemies. And inflicting bonus damage from having pure white character tendency in soul form is not yet all that relevant. But will become very relevant later on. Now, when it comes to using God's Wrath, it has a whole bunch of downsides, but also has one massive benefit. Namely, that it goes right through walls. And given the many corridors and narrow pathways in this game, you can definitely put that to tactical use. Especially because in general, Soul Level 1 runs are a bit different in this game compared to the later entries. In Dark Souls 3 or Elden Ring for example, an SL1 run, or practically any type of challenge run, is essentially basically a boss fight compilation, where you run past the overwhelming majority of regular enemies, but given how Demon Souls stages are structured, that's usually not a very viable approach, especially when you can take little or no damage at all. In fact, even in speedruns there are a lot of sections in which the focus lies on quickly blasting through enemies with magic, rather than avoiding them. Therefore, I need to slowly and methodically make my way through these stages, since I simply have no quick way to inflict damage. Each time I cast God's Wrath, I need to use a spice to refill my MP bar, which is a moment of vulnerability, on top of the casting animation itself already putting me in a vulnerable position. Especially when enemies do not die from a single attack. And that's quickly going to become the norm. Actually, in general in Demon Souls, getting through stages is a greater challenge than the boss fights at the end, which mostly act like set pieces. But spoiler alert, in this particular run that's not necessarily the case. Regardless, if you want to get the full experience, then check out the link down below to the full unedited livestreams of this run. In fact, although this run started off with at least relative ease, it wouldn't take long to devolve into utter despair that this video will never truly be able to convey. So if you want to see the full extent of my suffering, check out the actual livestreams themselves. Nevertheless, even though it took a very patient approach and I also didn't have to play completely perfectly yet at this point, I managed to make my way through the first stage on the first attempt. And that's a very good thing given the black cloud of death hanging over your head, since dying in human form will shift the world tendency towards black. And speaking of a cloud of death, I may have started the playthrough with Death Cloud equipped, and you might think that that would make Poison Cloud superfluous, but Death Cloud is actually going to be a rather circumstantial spell, with the exception of the old monk, since that's a brainwashed NPC, I suppose. Or it fights on the boss's behalf, or it's wearing the boss. I don't know, I guess it's a riddle wrapped in an enigma. However, when it comes to the Phalanx, you aren't really fighting the boss herself either. You're actually fighting the hoplites protecting her. And not only are they susceptible to plague, it's actually a highly effective way to deal with this fight. Now you could also use God's Wrath through the pillars, but given how satisfying it is to see so many health bars go down all at once, it would be a missed opportunity to not use this opportunity for mist. After all, it would be one of very few times where Death Cloud would specifically be effective. And one of the very few instances where a seemingly simple boss fight would in fact seem simple given the restrictions of this run. Regardless, I was on cloud 9 when the smoke finally cleared, because now, with the boss completely helpless, I could unequip the Ring of Magical Nature and substitute it for the Ring of Sincere Prayer, which allows you to praise the sun before it even was cool. After all, behind the clouds, the sun still shines bright. However, the light that shines from us is rather dim given how little damage we do at level 1, even with the Sincere Prayer Ring, and keep in mind that this is an early game boss. Not to mention that the slow casting animation is going to be a massive problem against bosses that, can actually move and, fight back. And the worst thing is that there are very few ways that we can increase it. And the Morion Blade is not an option, because we already need to hold our silver toothpick in our left hand to have enough MP to cast in the first place. Speaking of which, every single cast requires an aged spice, or alternatively 2 fresh spices to allow us another cast. So we definitely cannot afford to run out of casts in the middle of a fight or stage, otherwise we'll end up in a cast ourselves. So my first priority was to make my way to the singing lady in the Tower of Latria, given that she's the only vendor who sells aged spices, which led us to lovingly refer to her as the Spice Girl. Not baby spice, I suppose. Well, age spice, there you go. It's already in the name. So in that sense, it's a good thing that we cannot use souls to level up, because we're going to need every single one we get simply to restock our spice rack. Because in essence, it costs us 1,000 souls to attack a single time. And on top of that, each time we visit her, if we're not careful, we run the risk of one of the Cthulhus to follow us inside and kill her by proxy. And more about that later. But instead of continuing onwards into the Tower of Latria, I decided that I might not want to start off with a magic resistant boss like the Fool's Idol. So therefore I simply decided to continue with World 1. Because other than spices, there's another consumable that would prove invaluable in this run, namely soul remains, which are the more ethereal predecessors to alluring skulls. And yes, I am aware that you can kill the dragon rather easily with Poison Cloud, or heck, at the correct position you can even hit it with God's Wrath, but that's exactly what you don't want to do, because the dragon is essentially your greatest ally against all these adversaries on the bridge that will automatically die simply by letting the dragon do his thing, which saves me time and resources. But hey, in all fairness, how likely is it that we'll have to take this trip more than once? I mean, I got soul remains, and a boss with only a few moves in his moveset, but, well, ironically, getting to and fighting against this gigantic knight, slowly but surely, broke down the foundation of my ivory tower stone by stone, and I got a little hint to what kind of a towering nightmare I got myself into. Oh fuck, what the hell? I didn't throw it far enough. Oh my god, the soldier still aimed at me. Because I threw it right in front of his feet. Damn it. That was stupid. And here I'm probably better off using Poison Cloud. Because then I can simply ignore them, because they will die automatically. But they have to fire first. What the fuck? First of all, I didn't even hit him with the Poison Cloud and the other guy just quickly killed me. Okay, this is not good. Fuck. And I have to do the run back each time. Well, I couldn't even throw the soul remain. Have to be careful now. Okay, please tell me I can squeeze past here. No! Let me past. Wow. No! 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 What the hell? Come on! Huh? What hit me? What hit me? What happened? Let's play it extra safe. What the fuck? Ah, I finally made it to the fork wall at least. What? I was through the fork wall! I was through the fork wall! I was through the fork wall! What the fuck kind of fuck up the fuck? God. What? Yeah, after a while I just said, fuck it, I'm just wasting soul remains at this point. So perhaps it's better to go to 4-1, because Grave Robber Blige sells soul remains. Given that I'm obviously not going to farm them from these proto-bone wheel skeletons. Which do not have a lot of bones, since they almost appear metallic for some reason. But regardless, definitely a lot of wheel. And to be fair, we all know that the only good wheel is the Goblin variety. Yeah, as I've said before, it's a common and relatively easy approach to run past every enemy in the later titles. But Demon Souls is simply quite different. These helter-skelters are designed to not let you pass and are highly effective at killing you. And fuck me, were they on a roll.
Ah, this isn't right. Wait, this isn't right either. Nope. Negative. Come on, get it right. Wrong. 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 Nope. No. Negative. inventory yet.
Alright, I wasn't originally even planning on taking the unintentional shortcut. But, you know, given the amount of attempts it took to even get here, neighboring in the vicinity of 3-3, the amount of fucks I had to give was about that number in the negative number direction. Well, at least now I could make my way to the Adjudicator. I mean, good thing that he only has like 2 moves or something. Not even exaggerating. Because it would be a real pain in the dick if I had to do this run back again. And again, like multiple times over. And apart from not being willing to use pure Poison Cloud cheese tactics, that's not even possible on this boss, since he's completely immune to all status effects. Regardless, I think you will all agree, after seeing what happened here, that there is a bit of a cloud of suspicion that there might be some issues with the hit detection of God's Wrath in relation to this boss.
How did that not hit? Well, this is fucked. That doesn't make any sense. No, I can't hit the bird. I don't know. That's weird. Huh? Again, what's up with this weird hit detection? What the hell? I don't get it. I'm not hitting him.
Much later.
Come on, knock down. Finally, Jesus fuck, and that only gives me 1 hit. Damn it. This is so slow.
Much later.
Oh, that was definitely a hit because he's glowing. Damn it, this gotta take so long. Need like 7 knockdowns in total or something, and I can't see anything.
Much later.
What the fuck?
That doesn't even make any sense!
No! What the hell is that? Well, this sucks. I don't understand why I'm suddenly not hitting him anymore. Look, I'm against him. Come on, what the fuck is this? Just knocked down. I don't get it. I think 3 more knockdowns. Fuck, I really hope I don't run out of spice.
Well, I sure tried to make sense of this by any means, standing right in front of the wound, more to the side in either direction, attacking from further away, or even trying to essentially clip into the boss. But I simply couldn't find any kind of consistency to it. Sometimes it would hit, but most of the time it wouldn't. And the lower his health bar got, the less likely it became somehow that an attack would actually connect. And eventually...
Ah!
Yay, fun.
Yeah, I decided to come back here later. Because the Adjudicator was a bit too much of an obstacle. Oh, wow, I never thought I would utter those words. But that should put in perspective how utterly ridiculous playing with these restrictions is. And we're not even that far into the run yet. So therefore I decided to go to the first stage of World 2. But to reiterate once more, contrary to later installments, just running past everything is either not easily done in this game, or not even feasible in the first place. In fact, in my previous SL1 runs, I pretty much made it a point to fight almost anything along my path. But of course doing that under these circumstances would be very slow and tedious. So despite the fact that I didn't have the option yet to refill my soul remains, given that the Adjudicator was still alive, I decided to still rely on them instead of just spraying poison mist everywhere with minimal results. But ironically, I guess I was the one here with my head in the clouds. So yeah, a soul remain is an incredibly helpful tool, but that's all it is in the end. It's one of only a very few amount of tools in my tool belt. So the main thing that would carry me through these stages would be patience. A lot of patience. Because progress is slow and the slightest mistake can undo it. Well, at the very least, there are 2 shortcuts in this stage, contrary to some of the later stages that have no shortcuts whatsoever. So yeah, that's something to look forward to. Nevertheless, eventually I did make my way to the Duke's Deer prototype. And hey, that fight isn't all that hard, right? I mean, despite it being immune to poison and plague, it is in fact weak to magic. However, that means little when you only have, well, weak magic. However, that wasn't even the main issue. It's the casting animation that leaves you completely vulnerable. Also, the range is deceptively smaller than you would expect, and the range of the spider's melee attacks is deceptively larger. Speaking of which, somehow he did a move that I don't recall ever seeing before. And based on the reactions in the chat, I was definitely not the only one. I mean, did that actually exist in the original? Because I doubt that Bluepoint just added that move to his moveset. Now, the reason I even came across it in the first place was because I was looking for a safe spot to cast my terrible animation from, while staying out of the spider's reach. But as far as I could tell, that didn't actually seem to exist. At the very least, I wasn't able to find one. And therefore, I had no other strategy than to just play perfectly. After all, no mistake would be survivable against this annoying armored arachnid, given that this is SL1 NG+. But given that I die in a single hit anyway, at least this was the point where I finally made the clever decision to use the clever red ring instead of praising the sun. And the clever red ring not only boosts the damage much more, but it's also faster than the praise the sun animation. And you can imagine how relevant that is. On top of that, it also doesn't really make sense to praise the sun when you only have the clouds of heaven on your side to counteract the wrath of the underworld.
Ooh! What the fuck? Ooh, fuck! Ah, crap! I missed my opportunity. Fuck, not good. Okay, don't panic now. Oh, don't interrupt. Huh? Huh? Fuck you! Ah! Where's this one? Oh, I made progress. I made progress. I actually made progress. Oh my god, I made progress. I made progress. Use the bright one. Yeah, exactly. Use the souls. But I'm just gonna kill myself and then pick my souls back up. Because that way, if I accidentally die, my will tendency is not going to change. Because that's not, that would not be very helpful. You know what? I think we're going back into World 3.1. I think I'm going to give Fool's Idol a try. Maybe she can be hit from behind the pillars and then it might not be that difficult, even though she is resistant to magic damage. Also, she's carrying a baguette or something. I still don't know what the hell she's holding in her hand.
Long, long, it's big, it's heavy, it's wood.
That is shit damage. Oh, that's a real one. Okay, that's helpful. Oh, it's still the real one. It teleported to the same place. Well, that's helpful. It's still the real one. Okay, I'll take it. I'm not complaining. Just be stuck in a loop or something, I'm fine with that. Now it's a fake one. But it will disappear now. Now I hit it, so... It should disappear. Hello? What the hell? I thought it disappeared if you hit it once.
Well, I suppose I got fooled by the idol's mechanics, because something strange was going on with the clones. Normally they would disappear if you hit them once, but in this case, sometimes they wouldn't. And it wasn't quite clear what caused this difference. And it's especially painful given that, depending on the location of the real witch, I would not be able to have a safe position behind the pillar, which I desperately needed given how slow my attack was. In fact, given that it takes a while for the boss to teleport, even after getting a hit in, a direct attack simply wasn't viable at all. On top of that, in the remake, one of the 3 indications which of the witches is the real witch is much less clear, because I can hardly tell the difference between their projectiles, given that the real one uses Soul Ray over Soul Arrow. Very clear to see in the original, but not so much in the remake. So that made it a lot harder to tell which witch is which witch. Wow, I'm not even playing Bloodborne. Gotta love when things just fall into place like that. Which is probably what the boss was thinking as well each time I ran into one of her AoEs. Yeah, in case you don't know, that's exactly why you cannot just run around this place or just choose to approach her from the other side of the chapel. Because given the random traps on the floor, in this fight you definitely want to limit your movement as much as possible. But that implied that this was an immensely RNG heavy battle of patience, where at one point or another I would simply get a really unlucky pattern. Now, it would have been much easier to deal with those if I could consistently get rid of the clones, and thereby create safe positions to attack from. But somehow this just seemed to be nothing but a fool's errand. However, then the chat suggested that this might have something to do with whether or not the clones either remain or lose aggro. Meaning that despite a massive drop in damage, I could make use of equipping, unequipping and re-equipping the Thieves Ring. And obviously I immediately took the chat's advice to heart without being stubborn and thinking I knew better. So then we instantly came up with an actual even better approach and used this principle on the actual boss when she was alone in the back of the chapel, sacrificing my damage output for the Thieves Ring, but in the process preventing her from teleporting altogether and therefore no new clones. So doing a little bit of damage, hide, make her lose aggro, which prevented her from teleporting, and just repeat the process. The only downside though, each attack pushes her backwards. And that can be pretty nerve-wracking, given that there are still random traps on the floor. Especially given that normally this fight is a kind of a quick throwaway encounter, but I was already failing for about 2 hours already. I mean, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me for hours on end? Yeah, that's maybe kind of just plain shameful.
Well, I think I just have to make a gamble and move around the other pillar and then hope. Okay, this is good. Come on, only a few more hits. But I'm still pushing her away. Damn it, I don't hit her from here. I got her! 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 Oh, I don't have the silver thing anymore. Whatever. I got her! I actually got her! Oh, it took 2 fucking hours. Oh, and I went through almost all of my 8 spices and a whole bunch of my green... Almost half of my green spices. What the fuck, dude? And that for Fool's Idol. Well, at least that shit show it over with. I definitely have to take a piss now.
Wow, who would have thought that the Fool's Idol could ever give anyone this much trouble? Regardless, after finally achieving victory and soaring into the heavens, On the wings of, well, not angels, I suppose, but at least it gave me the resolve to return to the Adjudicator and the Tower Knight. So, would I finally be able to get any sort of consistency with my hitbox on this guy? Yeah, fat chance. I mean, just like that stupid bird, my chances of victory were really up in the air.
Why it doesn't hit? Why not? Look, even away from him. And it still doesn't work. Yeah, this is absolutely fucked up. I only need one more actual hit. And I can't even get that. Ah, yes! Fuck you! Fucking sumo wrestler looking dipshit. And the wrong ring. Fuck. Oh. Oh. That sucked so fucking hard. Oh. How many fucking spices did I go through? Shit, delicious. At this rate, I'm not going to get a single knockdown, but hey, as long as he dies. Why did that not hit?
Works every time.
Get the fuck out of here. Oh fuck. Oh, I think. Oh, he's dead. He's dead. Ah, he died from the poison. I'll take it. Oh. Okay. Oh my god. At least we could finish the stream on a good note. Oh my god. We didn't get a single knockdown, but I don't give a fuck. He died. That's fine with me.
By the way, in between streams, I made sure to refill my spices. However, as I mentioned before, you really need to be careful that you don't accidentally call Cthulhu over. Because he's not a fan of the Spice Girls. And I got really lucky here, because if she popped it, I would no longer be able to purchase any 8 spices. And imagine continuing the run with that tremendous handicap. Anyway, now with the Tower Knight finally down, I had access to World 1-3. However, even with the Adjudicator even more finally down, I still did not have access to new soul remains, since Blige was still trapped in a cell. And freeing him would be a problem under these circumstances, but it became evident that I would have to eventually do it anyway, because using Familiar Sprank as an alternative did not seem viable at all. Moreover, eventually I would have to take on the Valley of Defilement, where I would need my 2 magic slots for Death Cloud due to the poison immunity of all the enemies there. Regardless, I still had a whole stash of soul remains, and that's a good thing, because without them it would have been a nightmare to get through this stage. Well, to be fair, even with them it kinda was.
That works. Okay, but now I have to play it safe. I should basically cast quickly twice in a row. Yeah. No! Really? I did it immediately. Damn it, I guess Poison Cloud then. Cast and then the Poison Cloud in front of me and then... Jesus. You see why I was worried about soul remains. I'm going through them way too quickly. Cast and then... Poison Cloud. But don't tell me he's not moving here. What the fuck, dude? Where is he? Where is he? The fuck? Okay, well, at least I still got him. What the fuck, dude? Ah! Oh! Ah! Wait, what the fuck? Hey, whoa, what the fuck? What the fuck? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa. Huh? I didn't even know you could drop down here.
Listen up, you fucking leprechaun. If you run away, I'll hunt you down and castrate you.
Lots of enemies here. That's not a good thing. Oh fuck, there are archers between them. Oh, what the hell? Ah. Damn it! You fucking archer! Because that's all I need to get rid of those knights, but I have to actually be able to throw the soul remains. Yeah, I can't throw the soul remains. Okay, we actually made it past here.
Well, it took an hour to get here, but I finally made it to the boss with the best name in the game. Might as well have called him the Rear Ender. Also known as Claude Hot Rod or Bob Power Top or something. Regardless, I am an eager beaver who foolishly thought that I could take him, and I thought I might be able to hide behind the statues. But he quickly poked a hole in that strategy. Still, at least that gave me a little more room to work with. However, eventually you will simply run out of statues. And with no place to hide, he really gives you a hard time. Also, no space available to squeeze into, in reference to attack opportunities. Regardless, he was almost finished, so perhaps I would still be able to get a well-deserved climax.
Maybe if he does the turn move and if there's enough distance, if I would have cast now, I might have been able to. Yeah, I think that's possible. But that requires some strict timing. You see? That does work. Okay, I have to make sure that I time it correctly. No. No, 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 no. 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 Oh fuck, what the hell? Aw, oh, come on. Why was it not a double hit? Or, you know, simultaneous hit? I thought it would have worked, but it didn't.
Yeah, painful as that was, I was still coming back for more. Because I believed that the statues were still the key to my success here. However, not for blocking his attacks, but rather to slow him down. Because whenever there's a statue in between him and you, he will automatically attack it rather than move around it. And that gives you enough distance to get an attack in. However, given the limited amount of statues, I had to act very quickly and not waste too many opportunities. Otherwise, I definitely would both be and get screwed.
Okay, now poison, finish him off please. Oh, there he goes. Okay, good, good. Okay, let's get all the... Yay, okay, got him. Alright, we made progress. Hey, it took 1 hour and 20, and that was not so bad. I mean, the strategy with the statues pretty much worked. I mean, the level itself is harder, it seemed. Well, that's basically Demon Souls in a nutshell.
Now, given how many soul remains I used in order to even get to the Penetrator, and how many more I would have to use in 4-2, and oh my lord, 5-1, I had to make sure that Blige would be present at the start of 4-2, so I would have easy access to new soul remains. Unfortunately, I do not exactly have easy access to his cell.
Yeah, I can't see. I cannot see. Oh, it was one. That's the only one left. So hyper mode is meaningless. Why is there a skeleton behind me? Yeah, and now there's a skeleton here. What the fuck?
I don't like it, I don't like it, I don't like it here.
Must have been the wind.
What the... Where the... What? Yeah, it's just a matter of time before I get sniped, you see? Oh. What the hell am I supposed to do now? Basically I have to wait here. Whoa, yeah. Oh, come on. If I somehow could lure the other one here, then I... apparently the invisible wall blocks their way. So if I could lure the other one here... Ah, come on! Yeah, now I'm in the animation. What the fuck, dude?
You wouldn't like it, nobody likes it here.
Oh my fucking fuck up the fucking fuck. Did I don't even know if I'm hit him. If I hit him. Whoa, 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 whoa. I think I did. I think this is the final skeleton. So if I kill him now, I should be able to make it to, you know. I don't think there's anything else here. And I do have the key. Alright. Wow, I made it.
So, now I finally have easy access to soul remains at the start of 4-2. Especially because you can also easily farm souls here by using Plague on the Reaper, which automatically kills all the ghosts around here as well. And I'm definitely going to need those soul remains. Because in this stage, under these circumstances, it's not really viable to attack pretty much anything. It's much more effective to make use of the environment. However, without the Thieves Ring, the environment is also extremely effective at getting you killed. However, not wearing it makes turning these skeletons even less alive through a cliff dive a lot easier. Meaning you have to essentially switch back and forth.
Hey, whoa, whoa! I'm not wearing the Thieves Ring anymore. Fuck! I have to re-equip it. Maybe I should get rid of some rings, by the way. Whoa, whoa! What the fuck? Since when do they follow you here?
However, eventually you come to a crossroad with a Reaper and a Laser Ghost on either side. And another enemy blocking your way. So you have no choice but to kill it, otherwise you won't stand a ghost of a chance.
Max NG SL1 Pure Black World tendency. But I didn't throw soul remains into the... How does that work then? How the hell does that work? What the hell? What killed me? Oh, he already respawned in such a short time? What the fuck, dude? That was so quick. I didn't even have the time to change rings. Now.
You know, technically this stage isn't all that long, but it sure feels like an odyssey into the depths of hell itself. And it has no shortcut, so each time you have to... Oh my god! However, then someone recommended throwing a soul remains upwards to make the laser ghost shoot upwards as well. It actually worked out differently than that, but hey, it still worked out. More than I do, unfortunately, because I'm starting to get a bit of a dead bod. Probably from drinking too much, and doing challenges like these don't actually help in that department, I suppose. Yeah, the pain of getting older. But hey, speaking of old men who don't function like they used to, when it comes to the old hero, remember that in the land of the blind, the one wearing the Thieves Ring is king. Now, I initially planned on not fighting him this way, but after the amount of suffering I already had to endure, the amount of fucks I had to give at this point could be described with a 0 of the Kelvin variety. So I'm afraid you'll just have to turn a blind eye to the kind of boring gameplay here, and the tedium of doing almost no damage whatsoever, due to the lack of hyper mode. But as long as you take things slowly and approach him from behind, there's very little that can go wrong. So I suppose that victory is in the eye of the beholder. So yeah, it's a very difficult stage to get through, but the boss I could have beaten with 2 eyes behind my back. Now, unfortunately, the Storm King is like in most Demon's Souls challenge runs, exempt from the rules since only ranged attacks can even hit him in the first place. And not even all of them. However, we were in fact able to hit one of the smaller storm beasts with God's Wrath. So, there you go. A miracle a day keeps the manta ray away or something. Dude, I don't know. I tried. You basically cannot incorporate the Storm King into the majority of challenge runs. Just ride out the storm and move forward. And to be specific, I went into the direction of the Maneaters. Although I wasn't really planning on taking them on yet. But I thought I might as well get the shortcut open up. Which was surprisingly much easier than I expected. Oh, crapalicious.
Yay, fun.
Well, easier, as I was saying. Because even though I was afraid I wouldn't be able to knock Yurt over the edge since he moves around so much. However, you can simply make him stand still by talking to him.
No.
And the centipedes can be distracted with soul remains, which kinda makes me wonder why the hell I never used that approach in any of my other SL1 runs. However, the thought of taking on both of the Maneaters without the infamous Poison Cloud cheese, meaning I could only use Poison Cloud as merely a little bit of bonus damage, and my main attack would be the slowest attack in the game, against 2 flying dash-happy gargoyles, yeah, that definitely made my heart drop a beat. Regardless, I do have a heart of gold and I won't let anyone take it from me. So at least I wanted to get a feel for how bad it would be. So with a heavy heart I went up the spiraling staircase only to spiral into depression and despair. Oh, damn it, what kind of a playthrough is this? I really don't feel like doing this right now. So let's save these fuckers for later. I mean, there's still other places we can go to, so perhaps there's something easier we can do first. Huh?
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Fuck you.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Eat shit.
If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Dumb.
Well, that's an uh-oh of the Spaghetti-O variety. Yeah, Proto Bligetown is already arguably the hardest part of the game, but under these circumstances, it's a blight upon humanity itself. And speaking of blight, since everything is immune to poison here, I simply require Death Cloud. However, that prevents me from either using the Clever Red Ring to boost the damage of God's Wrath, or the Thieves Ring for some very necessary stealth. Now at least I have the benefit of being able to hit through walls, which is very beneficial in such a vertical area. However, that had a really unexpected and really undesirable consequence. Near the rats, the old lady above would actually get hit by my AoE, and that could turn into an absolute disaster. Not because I need her for anything, other than for her to absolutely under any given circumstance stay the fuck alive, because her death would remove my pure white character tendency, which in turn would remove my damage bonus in soul form. And to make things worse, no matter how many soul remains I would throw, the enemies would simply stay on my trail, and even fall down from above. And I couldn't move too far forward either because of the enemies there, in particular the big one. And to reiterate, I couldn't wear the Thieves Ring, or even have the Cloak spell equipped, because of Death Cloud, and yes, I absolutely needed it for the 2 big guys, since their health pool is absolutely immense, and God's Wrath would do almost nothing to them, nor would it even be remotely safe to use it against them. Especially not at this point, this late in the stage. Because remember, this stage has no shortcut. But eventually, I did make it through. At which point I was essentially inhaling a cloud of my own evaporated sweat. So yeah, that took 1 or 2 attempts, or hours, whatever. However, something that had me worried for the entire playthrough was Leechmonger because of his healing ability. In fact, given how slow my attack is, and his immunity to status effects, there was a real danger of the boss simply out-healing any damage I could possibly inflict. Not to mention the issue of standing in leech-infected water while in hyper mode, and no regenerator ring. However, I worried for nothing, because if you cling like a leech to this specific location in the arena, the boss will get stuck in a loop of throwing a ball of leeches at you continuously. Which is not only easy to avoid, and my AoE reaches far enough to hit him from there, but here's the most important aspect. This will actually prevent him from doing the healing move altogether, making my damage output pretty much irrelevant. So it's kind of ironic, especially given what would follow at the end of the next stage, that the boss that had me worried the most turned out to be basically one of the easiest to defeat. But hey, I'll take it after that nightmare of a stage that preceded it. But yeah, I guess that's just the nature of this particular boss, that even under the most extreme of circumstances, all the Leechmonger can do is suck. However, as I just alluded to, when doing a run like this, expectations are not exactly always met, in either direction, because what I thought would be difficult turned out to be quite doable, not only the Leechmonger but also getting through 5-2, and you might think that I would have to spray Death Cloud everywhere while wading through the Poison Swamp, but especially due to the brightness of the remake and the fires up above, we can clearly see where we need to go. So, because of the fires in the sky, we don't need to put any smoke on the water. And the rest of the stage took a little patience, well, more than a little, but I did make it to the shortcut with relative ease compared to the previous stage. But then again, a course in quantum mechanics would be easy compared to getting through the previous stage. Regardless, when it comes to expectations, as much as I expected a first or second attempt victory against the Dirty Colossus, and it initially even appeared like it, in fact I even took the time to go into photo mode to show how this boss actually has a face, which is very easy to miss. However, it was this fight, if you can even believe it, that turned into one hell of a colossal roadblock. Now, how on earth could a boss named after my dick be such a pain in the dick? Well, it's because of one particular attack that you might not even be aware of, as it's kind of obscure and hard to see, so for most people it will simply fly under the radar. Because the Colossus doesn't merely shoot flies from his hands, but at seemingly random times, a barrage of flies will come out of his head, and specifically directly aimed towards you. It doesn't matter where you stand. It can even pass through his own body somehow. Now, initially I thought that there was actually a pattern to it, namely that he would do it after the third swing of his triple melee combo. But that's actually not always the case. It's also not a timed attack, so I simply couldn't find any consistent pattern to it at all. And when you can only use this very slow casting animation, that is a major problem. And it was just a matter of time before it would get me killed. Either while casting or when using a spice. But in either case, I would not be able to avoid it. Nor was I able to predict it. Now, you might say, why not just cast right after that random fly attack? After all, even if it doesn't have a pattern, it surely has some sort of a downtime at least. Well, that would have worked if my casting animation wasn't so slow. Because I already had to wait for his regular triple fly shot in order to have a safe attack opportunity in the first place. Or he would simply not even do the random fly attack anymore, until you decide to actually use a spice. And to make things even worse, those regular fly shots will cause a swarm of flies to circle around the arena. And therefore creating distance in between attacks wasn't viable either. I wish I had a cloud of vinegar to prevent these flies from being attracted to my honey's hiney. In fact, I died so many times that I decided to take a break and go to Flamelurker instead. Okay, let me just reiterate that for emphasis. I went to Flamelurker because Dirty Colossus was too difficult to handle. Dude, what the fuck kind of a playthrough is this? But in order to keep things structured, I'll break the chronology of this run a bit. So in between streams, I decided to check out if I could use the arena to my advantage somehow. I mean, there is debris in the center of the room. However, that is breakable, so that's not going to help me. I mean, most of it is gone after my first cast. And either end of the arena would allow for safety, but the boss wouldn't position himself in any favorable way. However, then I found exactly what I was looking for. Because on the right side there is a structure that is unbreakable and will therefore block the flies. Now it's still a From Software game, so I would have to hurry since his melee attacks would go right through it, as you would expect. But at least I wouldn't have to worry about the fly attacks anymore. Well, that's almost true. If it weren't for the fact that the exact safe location is very narrow, especially given that the boss slowly moves towards you. Yeah, that is a bit of a fly in the ointment. Regardless, no reason to fly off the handle, because on the second attempt, using this strategy...
Would be helpful if this actually knocked him back, but... Fortunately, he is really slow. Oh, he's getting closer. But we're almost there. Come on, just spam and... Okay, just one more hit. Ah, now we... Haha, easy win. Oh, after all that suffering, we actually have an easy win. Hey, it worked out. Hey, I'll take it. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. We had enough random fly bullshit to work with, to deal with in the previous stream, so hey.
You know, it's actually kind of ironic that God's Wrath is made from the soul of the Dragon God, because both Astrea, as well as Garl Vinland, can use this very spell as well. However, that wasn't the main thing that concerned me here. I mean, normally this fight is basically just a set piece, but this time it became quite the math problem to solve. I mean, Garl is obviously immune to poison and plague. However, he also has a shield with 100% magic resistance, which is the damage type of God's Wrath. Meaning that as long as he has a shield up, we literally have no possible means of inflicting damage upon him. However, there is one remaining cloud spell that I haven't used at all, or really even had to mention before, and that's Acid Cloud. Because as far as I know, it's not supposed to be functional at all outside of PvP. But given that the wikis are apparently in conflict about this, I decided to at least give it a try. But oh, what a shock. As it turns out, the people writing for Vexel Life were probably on acid themselves. Because Garl got more smoke in his face than any random person during the first second when they walk into a random Dutch coffee shop. And despite all of that, there was simply no effect at all. So yeah, I'm pretty convinced that Acid Cloud indeed does not work in PvE. That is a real shame though, because breaking his shield would actually have been a very helpful tactic. Because with his shield completely intact, you can only get occasional damage in when you stand on the edge of Garl's aggro range, when he's already near his waifu and when he is two-handing, or when he's randomly facing away or not holding his shield up. But those situations are very rare, and on top of that, he can actually heal himself as well. I didn't even get that far, because the slightest error in timing can set you all the way back. And the alternative would be attacking Astrea instead, which would probably be even less effective. Regardless, that is how you would do it on a quote-unquote regular God's Wrath only run. But in our situation, we cannot take a single hit, and we need to refill our MP after every single cast. I mean, think about it. First you're wading through pure plague, and then you need to fend off Garl from one side, and then doing the random God's Wrath AoEs from Astrea herself. Because yes, she isn't completely defenseless. And it's the same attack as mine, with the exact same range as mine. It's instantly lethal for me, but she can heal herself. Perhaps even faster than I can inflict damage upon her. But I was like, you know, let's just give it a try, just to demonstrate the futility of this approach. I mean, there's no way that after all this suffering, RNGesus would suddenly be on my side. Especially against a former holy maiden. Because, let's face it, only a literal miracle would make this approach viable. And what are the chances of that happening?
Well, I'm definitely getting some luck here, and now she's healing. I feel like I'm getting really lucky here. But hey, if it works, it works. Oh fuck, no, I'm dead, I'm dead. Oh, I got lucky. I got really fucking lucky there. Wow, that was pure fucking luck. What the hell? Hey, I'm glad, but come on, that was pure luck. How the hell would you ever replicate that? I can't believe that either. I can't believe that either. What the hell? That actually worked. That was pure luck. I mean, how many things could have killed me here? First of all, she didn't cast her own God's Wrath. I got extremely lucky that I constantly knocked Garl Vinland back, and he could have killed me when he got there, right next. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I don't believe in karma, but perhaps I am indeed building up good fortune as payback for all the suffering I went through. However, would I get the same help from RNGesus against Flamelurker? After all, as I've said before, I wasn't willing to do the mind-numbing poison cloud cheese strategy. However, speaking of which, it actually turns out that even in the remake, you can poison him without him even noticing that you are there. Poison Cloud, strangely enough, functions like throwing a projectile. So you can literally, in a figurative sense literally, throw the cloud in an arc from the fog wall. In fact, you don't even require the Thieves Ring. Regardless, as I said, I wouldn't want to go that route unless absolutely necessary. And that meant using God's Wrath, which would require some really favorable RNG, even when putting the environment to some tactical use. And it turned out that I wouldn't have the same amount of luck against Flamelurker as I had against Astrea. Yeah, it wasn't merely his aggression. It wasn't merely the timing of getting him to run into my AoE. It wasn't merely about finding opportunities to refill my MP after every attack. It wasn't merely the lava on the ground. It wasn't merely the size of his AoEs. It wasn't merely how his broken AI made him unpredictable, as it was very unclear when and for how long he would get stuck. It wasn't merely the camera. Now the worst thing of all was his jump attack, which mechanically turned out to be one hell of a leap in logic. Flamelurker. Ik kan hem een leutelurker, godverdomme.
Fuck! That missed. Yeah. But now I don't know what he's going to do. That didn't hit? Uh-oh, fuck, I'm dead. Oh no, I'm lucky. Ooh. Ooh. Damn, that's obviously going to miss. Damn it, his AI is so fucking broken that makes him even more unpredictable. Oh. Well, the screen went out, so yeah, not the screen of not the game, but oh fuck, I'm dead. Oh, I got lucky again. But I can't see the chat anymore. But then again, I need to pay attention to the boss anyway. Whoa, where am I? Whoa, 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 whoa. Quick, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him. Yes, got him, got him, got him. Got him! We're making progress in this first hour of the stream. Nice, delicious.
Okay, so when it comes to Dragon God, not only is there simply no way to make it more interesting, or interesting at all, but God's Wrath turns out to be quite helpful when Metal Gear Soling through this area, because you can destroy the pillars from quite a distance away. But yeah, in the end, this epically introduced boss was even more of a fart in the wind than the little blowback from my own attack. In fact, he even looks depressed himself by what kind of a joke he turns out to be. Well, he made his bed of chaos, now he has to sleep in it. However, the next fight could arguably be worse than Flamelurker, since I could have to face two bosses at once, or somehow defeat one of them before the other can show up. And just like Flamelurker, my intention was to not use the Thieves Ring Poison Cheese. In fact, I wouldn't be able to use the Thieves Ring at all if I would want to do any meaningful amount of damage. So separating the Maneaters at the forkwall in the back, as I've done many times before, wasn't an option either. To be fair, I'm not sure if any attack window would be a safe opportunity to cast my very lengthy spell to begin with. So therefore, I had to create one by once more using the environment to my advantage. Which is kind of brazen, I know, but what's even brazier is the thing in the center of the bridge. And it's just wide enough to block their path and for my AoE to reach them. At least in principle. Because getting there in the first place is already a bit of an issue. because these guys are rather quick. At the very least in the remake they apparently fixed the hitboxes on their ground slime attacks. But a shame that they did not fix the one on their charge attack. Huh.
Yay, fun, huh?
Ah, damn it, the brazier is not going to do me much good if they can move around it before I can end my casting animation. However, fortunately, Bluepoint also neglected to fix another thing. Namely that the AI of the Maneaters is kind of broken, to put it mildly. And therefore can easily get bugged. The brazier is round after all, so when they walk into it, it will slowly push them to the side. Especially if I cast sideways, which slightly moves my character to the side. However, if they walk into it at dead center, and I stay in place on the other side, then I can truly take advantage of the bug in their AI, and let them experience the full extent of my wrath.
Now I'll teach you the true meaning of fear, as I summon the Man-Eater bug. Now, you mortal fools, prepare to meet your doom.
Oh, this works very well so far. He's not getting unstuck. So if I can kill him before the other one shows up, that would be nice. Quick, kill him. Where's the other one? I don't see anything. Oh! Okay, can you get stuck again at the same way? If this works, then wow. Oh no. Almost worked out, but no, shit.
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
Let's position myself in the most favorable way possible. I don't believe in karma, but I feel like I'm getting payback for all the misery that I experienced so far in this playthrough. First Maiden Astrea, and now this. But yo, I'll take it. By Maneater. Oh, whoa. Now by Maneater. Yeah, it's the same AI, that's true. Wow. Who would have thought?
Well, that certainly happened. Got pretty damn lucky with the brazier there. However, would the chairs in the old monk's room be that efficient as well? Or would I be on the edge of my seat the whole fight? Well, first of all, just like the Phalanx, this is the only other boss fight where Plague is an option. Given that you are fighting an NPC that is controlled by the boss. However, not only did having Death Cloud equipped make getting up the stairs an absolute nightmare, given that I cannot also have the Clever Rat Ring equipped then, meaning no hyper mode. But even though Death Cloud is active for no less than 10 minutes, meaning that a single cast would be sufficient to drain his entire life bar, but avoiding the boss like the Plague for that long would be the death of me instead. And therefore I would simply have to rely on God's Wrath instead, with a little bonus damage from Poison Cloud. However, that's easier said than done, because whenever he has his wand out, he can blast right through the chairs. Wow, that is some insanity coming from that catalyst. And even though you can knock him on the ground after baiting him to run into your shockwave, he is an NPC, so he can also iframe right through it. Moreover, even though he's quite top heavy I would say, he's a nimble little motherfricker. And the chair's ability to slow him down, or downright block his way, is yeah, it's questionable at best. Wow, getting double backstabbed here, by him and by the designers. Speaking of which, this entire room has already a really peculiar interior design decorator, I suppose. Or perhaps they were playing musical chairs before I entered or something. But I almost fell out of my own chair when I realized that the projectiles that appear around him act independently from the boss's own movement. He can literally kill you while he is knocked on the ground. And the further you get into the fight, not only will the amount of projectiles increase, but they will respawn faster and faster.
Whoa. He almost immediately hit me in the face. Oh fuck! The wand. That's not what I want. Okay, put your wand away, please. Oh, he actually has the Insanity Catalyst, which makes sense. But I never noticed that. I thought he just had a regular wand. I mean, he should have the Insanity Catalyst. I mean, that's what you get from this old monk's soul after all. So, it's a good thing, but I never noticed that. Fuck. Fuck, now the timing becomes even more difficult because the projectiles are so close together. Okay, that works. Damn it, I need distance. Yeah, that... Okay, that's good. That's good. Quick, quack and quack. Okay. But he dodged it, so that sucks. Ah, come on. I want distance. Personal space. Okay. Projectile. Yes. Do it, please. Hit him. Hit him. Hit him. Hit him. Oh, one more hit. Oh, wait. Poison Cloud. Oh, it's still active. Okay. Just avoid him and let Poison Cloud finish him off. Ah, there he goes. Yes. He choked on the smoke. Well, that turned out to be a bit more tricky than I initially thought after the first attempt.
So, after wrapping up the old monk, there was only one more world left to go. The featuring would allow me to sneak past the spirits of the real heroes of Maneaters, or actually make them lose aggro, because their placement is slightly different from the original, strangely enough. However, inside the tower, not only is the placement of the assassin rather awkward, he has the same cloaking ability as the Thieves Ring provides to me. It's weird though, I could have sworn that you could poison him from down here.
Huh. Or has he moved already somehow, I don't know. Wait a minute. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Ah, 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 ah. Oh, okay. Well, that was something.
Huh. Well, that happened. So the chat recommended to me, then I came up with the brilliant strategy to skip the enemies in the tower altogether using soul remains. And then I attempted to knock Ostrava off the bridge. However, that wasn't even necessary. So after he died from playing ping pong, I made it to the very lengthy elevator ride that I would have to endure each time I would fail against the False King. However, it actually turns out that it takes longer for me to take a piss than it does for the elevator to go all the way up. So, in case you hadn't taken away any useful information from this playthrough, there you go. Well, once again, False King Allant can be made piss easy using the Poison Cloud and Thieves Ring cheese tactic, but one last time, I did not want to resort to that. Moreover, that would take so long that not only would I have enough time then to take a piss, but before his giant health bar would have time to drain away, I would have to resort to another draining session of my own. Probably not even that much of an exaggeration. Well, fortunately, Allant's moveset is incredibly well put together, so I don't think we have to worry about the designers taking the piss here. What? Huh. Yeah, that's some 10 out of 10 boss design right here. Yeah, although Allant is one of the more memorable fights in this game, he also has a prototype version of Ornstein's charge attack, where he doesn't even have to be stuck behind something for it to glitch the fuck out in the most inconvenient of ways. And gotta love that when you cannot take a single hit. However, my damage output was higher than I expected, so that was a welcome surprise at least. But what was less welcome was the surprise of the motherfucker variety, when I tried to use the environment to my advantage.
Surprise, motherfucker! Whoa, whoa, whoa! He was suddenly behind me, what the fuck, dude?
So, yeah, we're not going to cheese him, and we're not going to get help from the environment either. This is just going to be a one-on-one. Priscilla, the Queen of Suffering, versus Allant, the King of Constipation Noises, I guess. But at the very least, AoE versus AoE, because that seemed to be the only safe attack opportunity I had. Well, safe-ish. Because it wasn't exactly all that simple. His AoE may have an even longer wind-up than mine, and that's saying something. But my casting window is actually very short. Because if I do it too late, then it will not cancel his animation before he gets hyper armor. And doing it as quickly as possible is easier said than done, because I need to close the distance first. Otherwise I will be too far away to hit him. Meaning he will certainly hit me, given that he causes a Krakatoa level of a shockwave. Moreover, I also cannot be too close, because Allant can immediately retaliate after breaking his animation. Meaning I need that extra bit of distance in order to react to any incoming attack that he might do as a follow-up. And of course there's the RNG factor, given that in any other fight he would constantly spam that attack, but now when I actually need him to do it, he only does it at the most inconvenient of times. Or basically not at all.
Whoa, whoa, oh, 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 oh. Holy fuck. Well, that was some fuck there. Well, no, I either do it this stream or I don't do it on stream at all. I'm not going to do another stream just for this fight, no. Then I'll do just off camera, or well, on camera, but not off on stream. Whoa. No, Allant is not glitchy, no. That's not a glitch. No, not at all. One more hit. Come on, do it. One more hit. Only one more hit. Ah, it's too far away. Come on, one more hit. Kill him! Quick! Yeah! We got him! We got him! We got him! We got him! The final boss goes down, or the sort of final boss, the practical final boss. Or something, I don't know. Where do you appear if you die to him? I think in the Nexus. There we are.
Don't you understand? No one wishes to go on.
And that's exactly why we're ending it here. Because this was one hell of a playthrough and I don't want to go on with it. Oh boy. That's it. There we are, guys. Wow. There were times during this playthrough where I literally questioned if I would be able to get to the end. I mean, I think a lot of you watching this these streams also probably thought that, is it even feasible to get through this? Wow, this was one hell of a run. Who would have thought? Well, guys, the final blast. Praise the sun. And praise the end of the run. And that rhymes.